Hello, I am filming the intro to this in my kitchen. I hope you enjoy this video. So I will be doing some painting in a couple of my sketchbooks, working in acrylic paint and acrylic ink. So I hope you enjoy it. Please let me know what you think. And thank you so much for being here and for watching. I really appreciate you. Keep watching. Lots of love. Okay, hello. So we're going to be creating a journal page, and I just wanted to show you what happens sometimes when there's, an accident, right? So I spilled, this bottle of ink here, which I still haven't done the lid up properly. I literally spilled this bottle of ink all over this page. And it was a big mess, and I had to get my cloth and wipe it, and it was everywhere, and it was seeping into the seam of the book. And I'd already put down this neon kind of coloured background, and then I just picked the ink up like that, and it dropped out, and the ink just went everywhere. So I just embraced the mess and added a few colours over the top, and I just really love how this turned out. And it's just kind of proves sometimes that the harder you try, the less you try, the more that you get results that you like. Right, when you're trying too hard, it almost kind of doesn't work. It's just a bit kind of rigid and a little bit wooden. And I've just filmed a couple of reels that have just proved that completely. I'm like, oh, what I've made is really kind of stiff and just not, just not me. So this just proves that. So I'm going to try that. So this is a book that it's a vintage book. I did a sketchbook tour, which is the very first video that I did for my channel. And of this book that I had, I've got two copies of it, you see. This one I bought because I just love this one so much. And so there's a sketchbook tour video of this book. Also, the first video that I did on the channel. So you can go and look for that, and you can look at all of the landscape experiments that I was doing. And I'm still doing landscapes because it turns out that... Sorry, hang on. It turns out that is what I love, or it's certainly what I love at the moment. And I've been through a lot of different kind of iterations of the things that I love over the time I've been painting, which is just over 3 years, or painting seriously for about 3 years. So what I started to do was gesso the pages. And I didn't do that all the way through the other book, and I don't always do it, but sometimes it's nice. It gives you a little bit of extra texture. And sometimes when you use these vintage books, so this one as an example, that when it came to me, or when I bought it, it was kind of falling apart a little bit. So I had to put a reinforcement on the spine, and there's a few pages that I've held together with some... of this brown tape. So it's this one here. I think I just got it from eBay or Amazon. It's this tape here, so you can wet it. So you can just literally get a paintbrush, brush onto the side of it, and then it sticks, and it sticks so well. It's really good for making books, fixing books, and anything else that you want to stick on really firmly. This is going absolutely nowhere, but it's almost too firm for the pages, because the pages are vintage, and you can see here there's a little bit of fraying, there's a little bit of ripping with the page, so we just have to be a little bit careful. And then I decided that in this particular one, or to begin with, that I wanted to work on a square format and have these white spaces at the sides. And see how that was. Although here you can see that I've already kind of gone over into the white spaces, but I do quite like that. It's thick paint there. I do quite like that look. So you've got this kind of main panel, and then these spaces over the edges, and you might think this actually doesn't look like a landscape at all. Let me just check I'm still in the frame. Yes. This actually doesn't look like a landscape at all, and that's fine. I'm exploring techniques that I can use in landscape, and for me this is You know, this can represent the kind of bushes and grasses and things like that. And the, you know, the sky and the earth. So these are landscape explorations in my opinion and in my eyes. So what I'm going to do is and so that's what I did with this one. So when I spilt the ink on the other page and I made that kind of beautiful mess, I thought I'm going to do the same kind of thing on this one. So I literally just got the black ink. I did my background, this kind of fluorescent, threw the black ink on, and then like scratched into it with this brush, which I've talked about before. It's called an ink duster. It's just a hairy brush, really. This is completely gummed up now. Luckily I have another couple of these, but this one's completely gummed up just because I haven't washed it. But I did use this end, which is completely gummed up, but it makes these really nice kind of scratchy marks, so it's not all bad when you ruin your brushes. So I just thought I'd start another page, and we'd go through a journal page in my sketchbook. So first thing I want to do is find a pencil. Of course I can't find a pencil. Here we go. Okay, so, and I'm going to make the same kind of marks that I did on the other side. So it is about there. And then, because I want this square format in the middle, I've decided, so it's there, and I might even get my ruler. It doesn't have to be exact. I'm not looking for any sort of perfection when I'm doing this. And I'm going to do there. I'll rip that again. Never mind. And then I'll rip it and then make a mark. Lovely. So there we go. There is my square format. Excuse me, I'm actually wearing my dressing gown, as you can see. Okay, so I'm going to begin with some kind of fluorescent background or some kind of bright background. So recently got this System Free acrylic from De La Roni. It's cadmium orange light hue. And what I like to do, I don't always do this, obviously I do work on a palette as well, but sometimes I just love to throw the paint straight onto the page. So I'm going to go with fluorescent as well, and this is a Peebo Studio Acrylics fluorescent pink, which I love this as well. In fact, I do love fluorescent. I have all the fluorescent pink things. I have the acrylic ink, in fact I have 3 different types of acrylic pink paint. Love it, love it. So a little bit of acrylic fluorescent pink, and then I'm going to go for a green, I think, and maybe a dark blue. Let's see how that's going to work. So green, and I know this feels a bit boxy at the moment, doesn't it? Like I've got a colour in each quadrant, but that's not really what I'm going for. And then I'm going to use this brush. So it's a flat brush. Don't even ask me what size it is because I don't know. It's not very big. About an inch, maybe, inch and a half. And I'll start with the light colours so then I don't get too many of the dark colours. And I'm going to try and stay in that square, the square format just to begin with. And I'm going to come all the way down here and go all the way up there. And then I will do the orange. And I'm going to do orange like that. And then I'm going to do the green. And I might just do something a little bit different with the green. So be a little bit more kind of rigid with the green. There we go. And then, oh, hang on, I'm gonna just clean off my brush on the page. I don't want to waste any of that. And actually, I'm going to put a little bit more. I'm going to use a different. So the acrylic paint that I've just put on is a little bit transparent. This one is a bit transparent. This one, which is the System Free De La Roni one, is a little bit more, as you can see, it's a little bit more opaque, a little bit brighter. Okay, and then I've still got this blue down here, so I'm going to wash my brush in there. Oh, I'm shaking the camera. And then I'm going to come up from the bottom with the blue. I'm going to stay within my lines, and then I'm going to leave this as it is, and I'm going to come back when it's dry. And I like how actually I've made a kind of purpley sort of colour here where the pink and the blue have mixed together. So I'll see you when it's dry. So while I'm waiting for that to dry, I thought I would do a second layer on this journal page. So this is the journal that I just was showing you, where I'd thrown the ink on the page by accident, and I just really liked how it all turned out. And I've been drawn at the moment to create these bright fluorescent backgrounds, or certainly in these books. It's very strange how different sketchbooks create a different feeling in me. So some sketchbooks, so this one, for instance, I've been doing some landscape, and it's smaller, obviously, or not that much smaller, to be fair. And I've been doing some pencil landscape studies in this, and also some watercolour and acrylic ink, kind of loose abstract landscape studies as well. But as you can see, it's got a completely different feel to the book that I'm working in at the moment. So it's very strange how different books call me to do different things. And here's a base that I've started with there that I shall go back to at some point in that book. So this one, yes. So what do I want to do? I've got a bit of green down here. I want to make a kind of abstract landscape that's quite loose and free and intuitive is the word that I'm looking for. So I definitely want to do that. So I think I'm going to go with black first, actually. I'm going to give my ink. So this is acrylic ink. It's not massively high quality or expensive acrylic ink. It's this one here. It's waterproof drawing ink. I mean, it says it's waterproof, but I'm not 100% sure that it is waterproof. I think that when I use it and then I go over the top of it with water, it does run slightly. So you do get the black kind of mixing in, but I'm not too bothered. I'm just doing studies, sketchbook things currently. So it's absolutely fine. Would I buy that one again? I don't know if I would. I might buy the more expensive one. Definitely, and what's in this bottle, so this bottle is this brand, the De La Roni. See, I'm already throwing it everywhere. FW acrylic ink, so it's this brand, but this bottle I've refilled it with the cheaper stuff. Let me just wipe my hand, otherwise I'll get it everywhere. Still wearing my dressing gown, as you can see. Okay, so I'm gonna go and do, so I'm really into expressive marks at the moment, and that's kind of a little bit samey. So and I'm doing a course at the moment with Louise Fletcher, so it's a 12-week course. It's called Find Your Joy, and we've been learning about contrast. So this is the black scribbles are a little bit samey, so you look at them and you think, okay, so there's not much interest in the black because it's all the same, even though we've got this contrast in the colour. So I'm going to make one side different to the other. And I'm going to do these kind of big black scribbles. There we go. And then I'm going to get my paint brush, and I'm going to soak just a little bit of that ink up there, and I'm going to do some kind of black line all the way across the top, the bottom there. And then I want to add in something that's completely different, something that is, and bear in mind this is quite wet now and it's black, so if I'm going to do something else now, it needs to be not something that's going to be using a load of, you know, brush strokes, because I like these marks here. I like these strong marks across the bottom. I like the scribbles here. And so I'm going to, I think, go in with some white ink. And I'm going to do, oh yes. So it's kind of mixing with the, it's kind of mixing with the black ink, which I like. And I'm going to give it a little tip over just because it's going to go underneath, which I don't really want it to. So I can kind of move it around a little bit. And if I move it side to side, so if I move it to the side and then tip it so it goes down and then bring it back over, if I can, that is a very kind of landscapey sort of feel, if that makes sense. Because it's these horizontal lines are a very kind of landscapey form, aren't they? This kind of, we're looking across the land. So I'm going to leave that one there for now, and then I'm going to come back to both of them after they are both dry and see what else I can do, or if there's anything else I want to do. These are just studies, so I love some of what's going on here, so I may just leave it. Is it the perfect painting? No, that is fine. I'll come back when they are dry. Okay, so I'm returning to this a little bit later in the day. It's now dry. Let me just check. Yeah, that looks okay. And this is quite warm so far. So we've got the dark black, and I love the scribbles, and I love the ink. Unfortunately, it's stuck a little bit to the underneath page, which is a bit annoying, but it's only a sketchbook. It's fine. So I feel like what it needs is some sort of contrast. So as it's quite a cool picture, a warm picture, as in the temperature of it is quite warm, I think what I'm going to do is mix a cooler colour there, and what I might do actually is have a look and see, do I have a stamp or a stencil that I could use? Where all my stencils are, my stamps are, hang on. Sorry. Okay, so what I've done is I've got this blue. Let's see how it's going to go. I think it could do with being a little bit lighter, that blue. So I'm going to mix in some of this turquoise with the cerulean blue hue. And these are abstract paints from Sennelier, and they are actually good, a really good kind of budget paint, I find. So I'm going to mix a nice blue with it. So let's see. Okay, a little bit more of the turquoise, hang on, I've got to go and let my daughter in. 1 second. Hi, love. I'm just filming YouTube, so give me a second, all right? Okay, love you. Yeah, Bee's here. Do you want to go and check on her for me? So I've mixed this colour, which I like, and now I want to approach the work in just a bit of a different way. So I'm going to use a thinner brush. Am I going to use a thinner brush? I'll tell you what I might do, because I want to bring something a little bit different. I might use my twig. So I might put the twig and then make this kind of tree-like shape with the twig. I'm going to scoop up some more paint. Oh, I did put white on this, I think, which you can't now see at all. Okay, yes. And then I'm going to see if I can get a lighter blue. And then, there we go. That's it, look. That's it. So, what do we think of that for a landscape? I quite like it. Yeah, the blue has really contrasted the warm colour. And yeah, I'm pleased with that. I like it. Let me know what you think in the comments. You know, abstract art is not for everyone, but I certainly love it. And I just love how everything is a bit of a puzzle. Like everything is a bit of a mystery, and there's no right or wrong way to solve the mystery. It's just a case of seeing what works, and that only comes from experiment. Okay, now I am returning to this, which is still a little bit wet. I'm just gonna use my hairdryer to dry it off. And I like the dark at the bottom. This is all very saturated colour though. So what I might do is continue using this turquoise, the turquoise. And then also possibly bring in a slightly different brush. Oh, maybe I'll use this one here. So, might mix with the turquoise a little bit of white. See how that goes down. Yeah, okay, so let's give this a go. And what I've been attempting for my work, to achieve for my work for a little while, is this idea of, and this is not, you know, someone else's idea of what I should be painting. This is my idea of what I like. I've been trying to achieve this idea of some kind of chaos. And then also some kind of calm. So this idea of chaos and calm together. And I haven't quite achieved it yet for me, for my own work. You know, I see it in other people's work and I love it. I haven't quite achieved it for myself. And then what I'm going to do is maybe get some of the dark green that I was using earlier. And I'm trying to, or maybe I'll make some green. Look, that works. I've got some more Sennelier. I'm going to mix it with this blue that I've got here. Let's see if we can make a good green. So we've got the sky here, and what I might do is add some white to the sky. A little bit of white to the sky. And obviously I'm dealing with the centre of the book as well, which is not ideal necessarily, but I don't mind it, to be honest. Okay, let us find a nice green. More yellow, more yellow. I realise as well it's probably better if I show you the mixing of the colours, but I'm still learning at the YouTube thing, so we will see. I'm trying to improve the lighting at the moment and try to keep the lighting more consistent, because I was realising that there was a big kind of shadow in the middle of the art, whatever I was showing. Okay, so I've got a yellowy green here, and I'm going to get my brush and I'm going to keep a little bit of water on it, so I want it to be smoother, but also I want it to show through some of the brightness as well. What I think I want is something a little bit more solid at the bottom, and then as it comes into the middle, I want it to be a little bit more kind of, so you can see this. So I might scrape back some of this, and this is a wonderful thing about acrylics, is you can kind of scrape back and then I was going to throw some ink in the middle and do something a little bit messy, but I think I've decided for this one I'm going to might use my rigger brush, if I can find it. Yes, here it is. So this is one of these brushes with a kind of a long, the brush is long, and so that kind of sets you back from the control a little bit, so it's not quite as controlled as it could be if it was a smaller brush at the end. Yeah, as you can see, all my terms are very technical. So I think I'm going to go with, and this is ink that I'm using, so it's a little bit more fluid than the acrylic paint, but I am wanting there to be a little bit more control. Okay. And then I am going to go And I'm going to put a little bit of this black here, I think. So not very much. And then I'm going to bring in because I want to darken the bottom and kind of bring it forward a little, which sometimes you can't tell what that's done until afterwards. And then I'm also going to use some of this darker blue and bring this in. I'm going to wash that brush as well. I'm just going to bring in a little bit of this. I'm just kind of playing with. Well, actually, I might just wet that and see if I can. Okay, now I'm going to just wet the ink a little bit. I want this line to be a little bit softer than it is, I think, and I've overdone it slightly, so I'm going to dry that up. There we go. Ah, now it's leaking up the page. Look, I didn't really want that to happen. Again, this is one of the downsides of maybe working in a I'm going to soften that slightly. Although maybe that's a little bit too soft. Okay. There we go. I think I'm quite happy with that, actually. What I might experiment with is, that's not gonna make a mark. Something. Oh, maybe I'll use a Inktense pencil. What do we think for some marks at the bottom? Maybe I should mirror some of that orange there. See if we can. For goodness sake. I'll stick that on the other side. That's not going to work. No, not going to work. Never mind. I'm going to just smooth that out a little bit. Oh, and that's quite interesting how the blue's coming back through there. I quite like that, actually. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to be done. I'm going to leave it there, and I've really enjoyed making these couple of studies. They're quite different, but I feel like, yes, I'm on my way to achieving the thing that I want to achieve, and these things take time, you know. It's a whole process, and the process I absolutely adore. I love. I mean, even as it's drying, I can kind of see the these marks. So these lines here is the gesso underneath, but I just love that. Some of them are the gesso and some of them are the bright underlayer. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate you. Over 100 subscribers now, so that is brilliant. And you know, if you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much. Please do subscribe if you're not already, if you enjoyed my video. I'm a new channel, and my plan is to share with you my journey, my art journey, and I'm a relatively new artist in as much as I've just kind of started putting my art out there. Please go and follow me on Instagram as well. So I'm trying to build my account there. So same as my YouTube, it's Hannah L. Harris Art on Instagram. And thank you so much. I really appreciate you for watching. Bye.